Hello, Reese from the Point Music Podcast thingy. Oh, that was a big break. Finally back. This is my new place. So this is where the podcast will be now. Yep, part of the rental crisis, and I got out of there. I bought a place. Yay. Back with the podcast, I hope. And first one back was the one I was supposed to have done way back in June, and things kept on happening and never happened. But eventually, we finally made things work. I have WA's Spicy Water. They're in. I don't know how to explain them. More than just indie. There's part of this WA sound right now where you got Dice, Dear Sunday, Spacey Jane leading the charge and that. They're part of all that. Incredible band. And I had AJ and Kyle with me, just basically chatting things about the single that they released back when we were supposed to do the podcast originally, and just all things Spicy Water, EP, and WA scene. So this was an interesting one to get back into. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it too, ladies and gentlemen, and people of all sorts. This is AJ and Kyle from Spicy Water. And we are rolling. This is the first podcast back in like months. I think the last one was March. And I have with me Kyle and AJ from Spicy Water. And we were supposed to do this back in June. And yeah, I had things go sideways for me. And then all these things sort of went pear-shaped. But now we're good. How are we, Kyle and AJ?
Good, thanks.
Good, thanks for having us.
It's all right. Hang on. You guys, I can't see you guys. There we go. That's better. So this is I actually bought a place. That was the whole deal because I was part of the rental crisis casualty shit.
All right. Congratulations for getting out, first of all.
I know. I survived.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to move.
Yeah.
So this is my place.
Yeah.
And I just knocked my pop filter. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
Yeah.
Now, when we were supposed to catch up, we were supposed to talk about the single Truth.
Yes.
Yeah, which has already done it right for itself. So there's a few things I want to talk to you in the very short amount of time that I actually do have with you. But firstly, the WA scene is actually blowing my mind right now. And it has been for the last probably 6 months, and you guys are part of that. So I want to know this is going to sound punny, is there something in the water there? But it's something special about WA right now, because you guys there's a certain sound that WA is producing, and you guys are part of that. So do you have any sort of like secret meetings with something like Spacey Jane and Dice and Dear Sunday and all that crew just going, hey, we're going to take over, fuck the East Coast, and we're going to take over?
It's kind of weird because we had a conversation about this on tour with Rara and amongst ourselves as well. Our bassist Fred reckons it's because we have Whopper here, so that a lot of people come out from Whopper with a very distinct taste. Like the bassist from Spacey Jane, she came out of Whopper. And on top of that, just having that freedom that to gig while everyone else couldn't gig just gave us a lot of freedom to really experiment with sounds and all that. I think that's also a big contributing factor.
Yeah, you guys, because you didn't go into full lockdown like we copped it, did you?
Oh no, we did proper lockdown for when it first happened, and then had like the small two-week lockdowns whenever there was like a case going on. Or like
more like whenever we had a launch.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Trust me, I was supposed to have released a full album, 2 years ago. Still hasn't come out yet. No, actually, I've got 2 albums that are still sitting there, just about ready to go. Yeah, and we've lost momentum, so now we've got to build it again.
Yeah, I think adding on to this, well, I think a lot of us kind of looked up to a lot of Perth bands that have been coming and going, and Spacey Jane being a big one. A lot of people were kind of following that sound almost anyway, and they kind of helped distinguish the bands to kind of step in and use them as an influence, but also like outside influences as well.
Yeah,
And it's
Spacey Jane really blew up pretty quickly. Like I actually didn't. I was following them, then all of a sudden it's just like went from there to like there,
yeah.
very quick.
And I think we're very lucky to kind of be where we are, and also just like every band that we've ever played with have all kind of like become our friends, and we kind of made like one big giant friend group here in WA of just like just everyone you're mates with now. Now just all your mates are in other bands, and you're able to kind of talk to each other about music when you're going out for drinks or stuff like that.
Mm.
And it's yeah, we're able to share a lot with each other, and it's everyone's just so welcoming and nice in this music community, which has been such a blessing. Which we also talked about on tour as well, just like how we've been able to just make really good friends with the people that we just play gigs with, and they're all so nice.
Because you would actually have a pretty what's your run like over there? Because doing an East Coast tour, basically, if we're going from where I'm sort of based, which is Sunshine Coast area, you go Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Northern Rivers, so Byron, Central Coast, Sydney, and then down to Melbourne, and maybe into Adelaide, maybe. Whereas you've got Perth and Fremantle, but what else have you got?
Yeah, well,
Bunbury, Marks. Oh, sorry.
Go like down south tour. So for a WA tour, you'd go from like Perth or wherever, and then go down to like Bunbury, Albany at the very bottom, Margaret River one, and then sometimes you might go north. Some I know some people go up to like Esperance or Geraldton and stuff to do some gigs. But it's always really like they're always very rural. Perth's pretty much just Perth. When you do a WA tour, it's just down south or up north, really.
It's kind of like
Not
a
much
southeast
up north.
Queensland.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. Yeah.
You do. Done.
What I wanted to bring up with you guys, because you're going back to say like your first single was Drunk Text, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was Drunk Text.
That you've had a really, because that was only released 2 or 3 years ago now. Was it
No, it's a year ago.
A year ago, right?
More, just a bit over a year, yeah.
Right. So listening to that and Truth and was it Goodnight?
Yeah.
Yep. There is a big change in your sound between Drunk Text and that. So what the hell happened?
We don't sound really. A lot of our songs all sound very different because it's just kind of boring to play one whole time. Like Truth is one of the first songs that was ever written for the band back in 2017, and that's when I was listening to lots of Tash Sultana. And then Good Night, of the more recently written songs, and then Drunk Text was also probably like a year or so older than Truth. And we've got like we're trying to record an EP at the end of the year. We've got one song called Wasting Time that will be that's more of like a ballad type of song. So I think it's just, I don't know, it's just really fun to like just mess around in different styles of your music. And I like that we can explore different genres but still have a particular sound that makes people know that it's us, but just doing different things.
Yeah. Yeah,
any influences.
sorry, AJ.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to say anything, but I was going to say we recorded Drunk Text at a different spot to Truth. So Truth and all that. So that's probably a lot of the sound as well.
Well, yeah, the bass tone is completely different. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's completely different, and it did sound like a different studio completely to me.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the largest factors. Another one probably be like just our approach to the song, because it's like it's more of like a reggae R&B kind of vibe. We kind of just had to change how we looked at the song and what kind of sound we wanted for it to make it a good song, rather than just being like, yep, rock and roll, big heavy bass, big heavy drums.
Yeah, because Truth, when I was listening to it, I was thinking it's got like a lot of the Dear Sunday and Dice sort of sounds happening there with the reggae and sort of like sort of groove influence coming through and blending with the indie tones, right? And that is a certain sound that WA is really pushing right now. And because I play in a reggae band myself on the East Coast here, so, and what I've noticed is that every region in Australia, every major region actually has its own particular take on roots reggae music. which is really weird. So where we are right now, like southeast Queensland, it has a very what I call coastal reggae. There's a bit of like Kiwi influence mixed into it. You go down to Sydney, and that's where you got your Sticky Fingers and Ocean Alley sort of like Britpop mixed with a reggae. Like they started out as reggae, and then they gone merged into this Britpoppy kind of sound. Go down to Melbourne, they're really proggy and got jazz elements in there, and you guys are really blending that indie and reggae roots sound to something your own. You can definitely tell when you hear something that from WA, it is a WA like indie reggae thing. You go, yep, I know that is from WA right there.
Yeah, I think especially Perth has just got that very like chill, a very chill vibe. And if it's not chill beachy, it's like chill country, where it's just kind of like, I don't know, everyone's just got like a very meh kind of like attitude in WA. Everything's like, oh, like that's just everyone's mindset. It's like any problems, like, oh, could be worse, you know? And I think it definitely shows in a lot of the music that's coming out. It's just everyone's kind of in that, that very laid back state, which kind of comes out in our music.
So one that you did answer actually a question that I actually had on notes, and very rarely do I do notes because I usually just wing it, but because I haven't done one of these in a while, I thought I'd better do that. You mentioned you do have an EP that you're going to be working on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please tell.
We release we'll have 5 songs on it. And we might release 1 or 2 early if everyone's good. It'll be one, probably like 2 of our songs that are currently on our repertoire, and then 3 new ones out that we're working on at the moment, which I reckon might be good on there. But we're still discussing which ones will be good. I think we've only really set in stone for like 2 songs out of the 5, so I don't know. We'll work on it.
So, have you gone into the actual studio to do these ones, or they're still sort of in the
Be going in November, I believe.
Right. And how long do you reckon that will take?
Probably, I think we've booked it in for 6 days or 7 days, something like that.
That's solid.
It's just over a week of like spending some time in there, which would be great. And then, we'll be doing that with Tone City as always. He did Sam Ford there did our last 2 songs, which is Good Night and Truth. And we've got a 3rd song to release because we were actually recorded 3 at the start of the year. So we're going to release that song. We'll probably release that while we're in the studio to kind of get people excited for what's coming. And then from there, we'll hopefully be able to do an Eastern States tour early next year when we release it. So
about time.
Be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you made it over here before?
No, we haven't.
All right. Well, I'll if you want, I'll have a chat with you after this, and I'll give you a few clues.
Yeah. I've heard places in like Melbourne crowds are a lot more attentive. Like they don't do much. Apparently it's like
my experience with Melbourne is basically if you think you're special going into Melbourne area and saying you're a musician, they just look at you just going, yeah, so's the other like 100 people behind you right now.
Everyone that did New York to do Broadway is like, okay, welcome, join the club.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But Melbourne is definitely a vibe. There are certain areas there that I've played in sort of the Fitzroy sort of area and out at Belgrave and that, but every area is completely different. You're like basically the Northern Rivers run all the way up to Sunny Coast, and if you can make up the Cairns, it's well worth it.
Yeah, right.
But that's a hike.
They're in for Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. So I think we're starting off small, and the next one we'll try and add in like Adelaide and Tassie, and try and get some Cairns would be pretty good.
Well, Brisbane you could still add in Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast.
If you've got the time for it, because I think we're doing like 3 days in a row there. But I know we got Jack, our manager. He's organised it for us because he lives in Sydney. He knows what to do.
We probably shouldn't say too much, hey AJ, just because everything's up in the air at the moment.
Yeah. Basically, I'll know when you know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. there is a team up that you guys, well, in particular AJ, you did with late 90s.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
So how'd that come
Love
about?
those boys. We well, we played a few gigs together throughout the years, and they were writing a song, and there was a part where they wanted to get someone else to sing on it, but they were just going to get one of the other members of the band or something, I think. And they were like, "Oh, I reckon it would sound good if like a girl was singing it." And I don't shy away from the fact that I used to be an emo when I was like 14 to 16, full hair and everything, wristbands, just yeah, it was a sight. And yeah, so they knew my past with that, and they were like, "Why don't we just get AJ to do it?" I was like, "Yeah, go on, I'll do it," because I'm always keen for it. I always tell my friends like they're in bands, I'm like, "You want backing vocals? I'll do it for free. I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, don't do that.
Help my friends."
No.
Yeah, don't do it for free.
No, don't do it for free.
I don't mind. They're my friends. I love them.
True.
But I mean, obviously we got paid by like 90s for it, so that's fine. And they had this like blank spot, and I just asked if I could do a verse rather than backing vocals. I was like, "Oh, I could do a verse if you want." And they're like, "Oh, see how it sounds." Wrote it in my car on the way to work, and I like recorded it before I started my shift. And I was like, "Hey, let me know if this is okay. I can change the words. I don't know. It's only quick." And yeah, it ended up being perfect for him. And then we just kind of ran with that. And yeah, it's been a really good experience. I have like playing with the boys and playing like a different genre of music entirely, like very heavy rock emo, which is just like the best. And yeah, I'm good mates with all those boys. So they yeah, it was really nice. It was really good.
So do you guys actually gig together?
Yeah, we always gig together.
Yeah.
It's good as well. So whenever we are on the same line, I think for the release of that song, we were on the support for that one. So we played for them and on stage to do the song with them.
Oh, AJ, we weren't on the support for that one.
Yeah, we were.
No, we weren't. I wasn't there. I was working that night.
Did placement on
No,
that?
it was just no, because it was at Amps, and you went.
T-shirt for was that not?
No, that was not that one because we had the gig the night before with someone else.
Well, we didn't play it as a band, but I jumped up on stage.
Yeah, you jumped up on stage.
Ah, dude, that's true. No, it was the other show. We did another show before. T-shirts with our names on it, and I bought that.
AJ fucked up.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember.
Yeah, that one was at Indie Bar. Yeah, that's the one with the Indie Bar one, and they had a Yu-Gi-Oh card like shirt. It was so cool. It was like Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah, Blue Eyes. They released this
Yeah.
shirt with a shirt company, and it had the Blue Eyes White Dragon on it, and it had like late 90s, and then it had like the bands that played that night. I was like, I'm buying this shirt. This is awesome.
Hell, killer merch.
My brain just like connects different memories with different dates. It's not right. It really messes me over.
Yeah.
You sure you're not?
On
in
top
your
of that,
40s?
AJ, we were.
Oh, jeez.
We also went to that teenage Teen Jesus and Gene Teasers gig the night before. If you remember, AJ.
Yeah, we went to the same at a very
Yeah.
small. Should easily find someone. We had both been there start to finish and didn't realize we were both at the same event until like the very end. And
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, where's AJ?" And he's like, "Oh, she's not here." And they're like, "She just posted us on her story." What do you mean? That was
That's
so
pretty.
funny.
That's pretty normal for a band to have shit communication like that. Just so you know.
We're bad.
Yeah.
We get so distracted. Most of us, like, I've got diagnosed ADHD, but I reckon the rest do because y'all are just as bad as me.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Memory communication. Never heard of it.
No, well,
Dunno.
that's because you got like 50 tabs open at the same time, mate. That's just like, yeah, I swear I told you. Yeah, no.
Oh, I told you about the other thing. Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up with you guys, you're one of the you're in a rare situation. Well, from what I can see, anyway, a lot of Australian bands still haven't really adopted TikTok properly. Okay, but you guys have just embraced this shit and just gone with it, and you're actually doing it right on there from what I can see anyway. So everyone's still sort of. It's so weird because I do mentor sort of younger bands as well, and they refuse to go onto Facebook. I'm just going, well, you do kind of need a Facebook presence because the fact that venues will still look at your Facebook presence and see how many followers you have because you actually have to promote the actual events, and that's how they use that, okay? But they'll use Instagram, but they don't want to use TikTok because they see TikTok as being like uncool or whatever it is for whatever reason. But you guys have just gone, fuck that. We're running with it. So what do you do? Do you plan out things?
No, yes and no. A bunch of sounds on there that I think we should use. And on tour, I was like, guys, we've got to make some I've thought I've got some funny ideas and I want to see what they'd look like. And then we just didn't do it because we got drunk instead.
But that makes for a better TikTok when you do it that way.
Yeah, most of the time it's either on a whim, like you'll see a sound or I'll go through a safe sound and I'm like, oh, guys, this relates to us. Let's just make a funny, stupid video. But I feel like we don't TikTok as much as we should. I reckon you get the thing with TikTok, which is annoying, to get on the algorithm, you have to be consistent. You have to post like every day.
Twice.
It's just a lot. You got to build a lot of content up, but we just try and post what we can and just try to be silly and just not care and not do things for the views, but just more do things because you're like, hey, I think this is funny or this is informative for whatever we need. Just put it out there, do what you want. And I think we've got a really nice fan base where they just love everything we put out anyway. So they give us like little likes and shares and that, which is very nice. Helps us along the way. But yeah, the truth is just don't care. Just do what you want. If people that think that's lame are lame. If you think things on, you put other people down for it, you're lame.
Exactly. Like I come from a PR background, and any kind of sort of marketing like that you should be using and embracing no matter what. I mean, originally with the point being on TikTok, I was doing haiku reviews. So I was doing reviews in haiku format.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I did stalk your TikTok.
Yeah. I haven't done it in a while because it just takes so fucking long to do haikus. Like to be clever with them anyway. I'm just like, oh man, seriously, I don't know if I could keep up doing this. And I felt like a bit of a dick doing it in like a dressing gown or whatever like that. And it's just like, man, I got so much on my plate. I don't know if I should be doing this. And it was getting okay. And I know when I did these reviews in haiku, the bands that I did them for were fucking pissing themselves laughing and sharing it. But it's coming up with consistent content like you brought that up.
Yeah.
Is very difficult. There's no way in hell I could do a haiku a day.
Yeah. It's stupid. It's too much. It's just more effort you'd get out of it, you know?
Ooh, what was that?
That was my phone vibrating. Sorry.
All right, time to add to that, hey?
Yeah. So, okay, we got EP coming up. I'm guessing since you're going in the studio in November, so give and take, mixing and then mastering, we won't see that until February, March.
Well into next year, yeah.
Yeah.
Given how long it's taken us to release 3 songs that we recorded at the start of the year, it's probably not going to come for a while.
Dude, that's a normal thing.
January, what we're going to be looking at, I reckon that's the goal.
I don't think so. I think
that's
it's a bit longer than that. That's extremely optimistic. Putting our producer Sam at just at the computer, mixing it 24/7, 7 days a week. That would be realistic if that was the case, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, do you guys have much of a sort of a hands-on or input with the mixing process, or is it just one or two of you that go in there?
AJ and I are really we're quite picky about what we want to hear in the mixes.
Yeah.
And so we were just I think with Goodnight, it was how many different drafts did we have? AJ, it was
5 or 7.
Yeah.
You gotta though when you record things, you gotta have a certain way, and I think also Sam appreciates. Even though it can be very nitpicky, I'd rather have something I'm proud of rather than be oh, it's not the way I wanted. I actually wanted to add these things and these things when it's already released. You got to be picky with them because you got to have them. Nothing's going to be perfect, but it can be close enough, and I can be happy with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can drive yourself
Yeah.
crazy pretty quickly because I learned how to do production and mixing during lockdown up here basically, and I started doing my own album, and it I when I asked how many revisions and that sort of stuff, and it was funny. I did laugh when you said there was up to 7. Like I love going through my folders and seeing final mix 2, final mix. Like it just comes up to
Yeah.
like it was the final mix, but no, it's never a final mix.
There's always things, and even to our songs now, there's still things I'm like, oh, wish I added this, wish I had this, but like I'm not as regrettable about it as we put so much work into all of it, and if there's only like 2 things that I'm missing, I'm fine with that. Because I think
Yeah.
it's like a track or a perfect show, so like you can just have because otherwise, if you go for perfect, it's just never going to stop. There's always going to be things you can add. So there's going to be things you can take. Just can't stress yourself a bit.
Oh, always. All right, so we're getting pretty close to time here, but I do want to bring up the amount of support shows you guys have done for some big names out there. Is pretty amazing, right? So we got Spacey Jane, you got Dice, you got Baker's Eddie, The Vans, Death by Denim, Great Gable, Old Mervs, who played Big Sound and been making a splash. I think they're playing again. They just released something anyway. Dear Sunday, who were featured here, and you got Teenage Dads, who just played around here, like I think last week, and
Yeah.
Teenage Jones as well. Which one of those stands out the most?
Oh,
I fucking love Death by Denim. I think they're great. But I also really love Old Mervs. And yeah, for me, it's a hard pick between those two.
Good
I
call.
really like. I'm excited for Teenage Dads because that's coming out October 21st. But then also like we just came back from the Vans their tour. I really really loved that tour. That was like one of the best. It was our first like proper tour. Where we actually like did 3 shows and we were like sleeping. We had like 4 days where we had to like sleep together and hang out, and we didn't fight. And I'm very surprised. I thought we would argue, but we were actually got along like so well.
You were that's where you're wrong. We did fight when we got to Margaret River because we're like, oh, we're gonna get bruised, and you're like, no, we're gonna talk about it.
Fight you. I think 4 days is it. That's as much as I can spend with you guys before I start snapping. So I think because you were asking me a question, and I was like, "It's a stupid question, Kyle. I'm doing it."
That's just tour
Oh,
life.
yeah, it was just. I think we were just stressed. Oh yeah, because we were like a little bit
Yeah.
late
Yeah,
We were
that's right.
on time, but I prefer to be early because on time is late to me. I don't like.
But to be fair, we got to like look at some pretty nice stuff in Albany because of that detour we went to.
We were
Yeah, it
collecting
was.
Amber were collecting quartz rocks at the beach because there was a quartz deposit, and so we stayed an hour just bringing rocks. And Kyle's like, "Guys, we need to leave. We're gonna be late." I'm like, "I need to know."
It's all about the rocks, man.
Rocks, please. Oh, dude. Yeah, I stressed myself out. Do you know, it's my own fault that we were on time instead of early.
That's
It's on
another
me.
ADHD thing, man. Like seriously, we get fixated on time. It's got to be there. And if it messes with our routine, it's just like, ugh.
On time or horribly off time, and that's it. There's no medium anymore. It was a great tour. Yeah, I really like Vans and Baker's Eddie as well. We had a tour with them. They were. There's just there's so many. I love all the supports that we did because it really helped us to build kind of a more like a bigger connection with everyone who's like over east. So we go to tour over there. We kind of know people that we can like ask for support or like just get them to come around and bring their friends.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all so nice because I think we were really worried, especially with some of the bigger name bands, like, oh, what if they're like, maybe they're mean or they like maybe might be stuck up or something. But they were all just so lovely and like so welcoming and just like they just did the most for us. Even though it was like their tour, they were just like they were really sharing the experience and really like bringing us in and like embracing us and like
Good.
making us feel very like their team. And it's so good to see. I really like that. I really like that just the music industry in Australia, like it as competitive as it is, you come across some of the most wonderful people that like genuinely care about you, even though they've only known you for like 2 hours. and it's it's so lovely. Everyone's been so good. I couldn't pick one. It's too good.
That's a very diplomatic answer. And on that note, we'll wrap things up. Hang on after this because I'll explain a few things to you. I'll give you a few hints and that sort of stuff too, right? But I'll link Truth underneath when this video goes live, because we're not live right now. Just so you know, just that's fine. I'll link that, and then you guys do your magic with it. I'm keen to see this EP, and let me know when you come over here, over the east coast. I'll definitely come and hang out with you and show you a few things.
Yeah.
Kyle and AJ from Spicy Water, thank you very much. Hang on.
Thanks so much for having us.
Everyone else, adios. I really hope you enjoyed that one. Big shout out to AJ and Kyle, and I didn't get to say goodbye to him either because Zoom cut me off, which is pretty normal these days because I don't pay for the thing. I hope you enjoyed that one. Do check out Truth, and also the team up that AJ did with late 90s called Rust. It's an incredible song. More to come, I hope. I'm going to try and get back into this. If you guys dig it, please share it and give me a thumbs up and follow the podcast because it does mean a lot. Thank you for supporting local music, live music, Australian music, all sorts of music. You guys are awesome. I'll bring some more podcasts your way. Cheers.